You mentioned counting homework as 10% of the grade. Has there been any discussion or change in how teachers are assessing learning now that students have a device in their hands?
I think it's become more versatile. You know, I think it's, assessment occurs in lots of ways, and so I think it has opened the doors to assessing students in a greater variety of ways. As far as how I'm still assessing the same things. I'm just assessing them in various ways. So, as far as did it change assessment? No. Did it change the way that I collect information regarding assessment? Sure.
But there's a layer of assessment too that I think is important when you think about what is important to you in terms of the technology skills that you want your students to acquire by the end of a course, right? So for me, we talk sourcing. It's a historical thinking skill, but to do that digitally or do that on paper, two very different things. So one of the things we work on is how am I assessing that? Do I have the perfect assessment yet? No. That's why we beta test a lot of this before it actually goes to the assessment that we want to be using. But it has opened up opportunities for conversation on our curricular teams. What is this assessment going to look like? So not only the what, but what's embedded in there. What are we really assessing these kids on?
I was just going to say about assessment, what I see is like a gradual shift away from the multiple choice stuff and more toward stuff, frankly, that's harder to grade, right? But it's more meaningful for students, Like Chris Lehman would say, a lot of data that we use is like multiple choice. It's cheap, it's easy, it's not good. So we would like to see more opportunities for students to really express themselves in true assessment. But that's hard, it takes time.
And there are a few teachers that are really putting themselves out there and going the route of, here's the objective. Demonstrate that you know it. And kids are coming back with all different methods to demonstrate that. And the teacher's not scripting that. That's not happening a lot, but it is happening in pockets, and we're seeing some cool things. And we've talked with some teachers that are trying that. One kid comes back with a YouTube video, one kid comes back with a slide deck, one kid comes back with a Prezi, one kid comes back with a written document, one kid comes back with the old school diorama. Okay, that one didn't really happen.
No, I got that.
So,
she was proud of her, she does.
but for each of those kids, they met the objective. And that's tough, right? Now you're talking about devising a rubric-type style tool to assess any version that student chooses to turn in. So we've seen a little bit of that, and that's been kind of fun. Teachers will say that's challenging, that's hard, but in the end, they've also said that students who may not typically engage with an assignment that I script, all of a sudden become engaged and do some pretty amazing things.
Because it requires them to think.
And they get their own say. It's like they're building part of that project with the teacher, right?
That's what I proposed for my final exam.
See, she's right.
And I was met with a lot of resistance. And I actually sent that email out this morning, and I'm afraid to check. So
The other thing too is if any science teachers in here. There's any science teachers? Just one. Okay. The next generation science standards lend themselves very, very easily to this.
All right. Please join me in thanking our unbelievable teachers. Awesome. Thank you guys very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.